All right, all praise to the Most High. Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. I got my brother, a true soldier and warrior in this fight. Brother who's the host of Do the Knowledge Radio, Brother Knowledge Born Allah, or as I like to call him, Ahyab, Soldier Ahyab. Real quick, brother, how many episodes of Do the Knowledge Radio have came out?
I think to date it's like 1,047.
Good Lord.
Something like that.
Yeah, that's serious. That's work. That's serious work. 1,047, 48. That is serious work. We're gonna talk about the radio show, where the concept came from, etc. But first, we gotta start. We gotta start at the beginning. We gotta start at the beginning, of course. So if you could just give us a little information on your background, your upbringing, things of that nature.
All right. Well, I've been around for 25 years in the community, 25 years in what we would call today as the conscious community, or it might even been longer, but as far as me being a staple or someone with this particular background, since I was around 15 years old, I was in this community. My mother and father came to this community before me, so this was like my inheritance from them. On my 10th birthday, my birthday present was a Malcolm X speak book, a Malcolm X button, and I went to the Harriet Tubman School in Harlem to see my mother receive the Harriet Tubman Recipient Award. So, her and my father used to work on the street, helping, our people get off drugs, out of prostitution, things like that, from those early Islamic days that my family had instituted in the household, from, what they had found on their path. And, I've been involved in various different organizations throughout the course of my life, and really kind of dealt with things from an organizational study perspective, learning how to build men and learning how to build solid organizations. So that's been like my goal, aim, and objective. And along that path, I've been dealing with all kinds of things in that regard. Some of those things I'll explain. You can get a clear picture of what I had going on.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So I know you was born, like you spoke about, you was born Arabic-speaking Muslim was how they was running the house when you was born, right?
Fine. I actually had to learn English in order to go to school.
Okay.
And I'm gonna say this, real quick, if I may.
Yes, sir.
That preparation for military service and preparation for the service of our people begin before I entered the room. Contractually, there was an agreement that was made between my parents and I for the work that I would do. So everything that they did was in preparation for me to come and be and exist in a certain kind of way. Like, before I went to kindergarten, I just told you I had to learn English in order to go. Before I went to kindergarten, I knew everything that I needed to know for the 5th grade. This is how serious education was in the house. You know what I mean? So when you start looking at that, I'm the 4th child of 7 children, like that, smack dab in the middle. You know what I mean? So when you look at that, 3 older, 3 younger, right there in the middle, that task and force in regards to keeping the family together. That's why I got middle children raised in the motherfucker, because they have a duty and responsibility to keep what's behind them intact and what's in front of them intact.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So they are the glue that holds the family together. if they're doing their job properly.
Yeah, if they're doing their job, yeah.
Yeah. They're just weirded in the motherfucker because, you know, they ain't old, they ain't the oldest, and they ain't the youngest, so they ain't getting no attention.
Right.
So, yeah, dealing with that.
Yeah, so basically what you're saying is like your parents have, you know, like in scripture, they would dedicate the child before the child is born. They telling the Lord, hey, listen,
right,
this child is already dedicated, you know what I'm saying, to your service or whatever you need him to do. This ain't even our child, you know what I'm saying? We really just going to get him ready, you know what I mean, to do what he needs to do for the greater cause. You know, that's powerful. So, okay, boom. We got that. Boom. 10 years old. All right. So,
I didn't get a chance to tell you my birth story.
Oh, yeah. Let's go into that.
I did not do that. Yeah, I gotta give you that. And then, you know, the family has a better understanding of why I am the way I am. They might hear stuff, you know, everybody's clever nowadays. So they got all these books and videos and all this other stuff that wasn't nowhere in sight when we were coming up. You know, we had to get it from the mud. And education was not celebrated. So this motherfucker's trying to be a white boy. Oh, now I got to whip your ass. So it's a different kind of little vibe right there. So intelligence. Just imagine, I'm going into kindergarten. I know how to read cursive. I'm writing in Arabic. You know, read. There's nothing. What is there for me to do in kindergarten? That's it. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to school in the suit. You know, I got my briefcase. I got books. You understand what I'm saying? They're coloring and playing with glue and all this other shit. I was like, what the fuck is this? You know what I'm saying? So, you know, all of these things, you know, kind of lead back to my story, my beginning story. I was born in 1980 in June, and I was born 3 months premature. And I was the first child in New Jersey that was born 3 months premature in 1980 with no birth defect.
Wow.
So again, this, you know, my birth was a fight. The first year of my life was a fight. And as a result, I became someone that everybody was coming to see, all of the doctors and all this other stuff. So, as I said, I'm the fourth child. So, my father was out doing the work of the Creator. You see what I'm saying? My mother only took a break to have this baby, and then she was about to go back out and doing what she had to do. But she was there in the hospital, and when I was born, the doctors came to my mother and said, you got 3 other children. Let us have this child so that we can kill him, perform experiments on him, and see why he was born with no birth defects. This is in the interest of science, and, you know, we'll give you some money.
Wow.
Yeah, yes. So, you know, it's like, you know, foot on the enemy's neck is very well warranted dealing with that. So understand that when you go into these situations, you have to have all of your eyes open and all of your wits about you, and you have to walk in a certain kind of state. You know, so imagine my mother was told that she would never have any children by doctors. I just told you, 7 of them. So if she would have listened to, you know, those doctors, I wouldn't be talking to you, Chief. You know what I'm saying? So now, fast forward, this would be, you know, after my mother was dealing with the science of herbs and healing for herself. You know, it would come back through her generations in regards to her children. You know, the same thing she would give to, you know, the world in regards to those healing modalities for 30 years. You know, she had to begin with her patient zero, you know, her son. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So they had tried to, as a matter of fact, that put me in some solution similar to embalming fluid, and they had made me like a 6-month-old baby overnight. My mother left to check on, my brothers and sisters and came back. Like right after that conversation, she came back the next day and she couldn't find me, even though she was looking right at me. When she left, I could fit in the palm of her hand. And when she came back the next day, 24 hours, it was a whole nother baby.
Wow.
You know what I mean? It's a whole nother baby right there overnight. So I was all puffed out and all kind of stuff, so they was trying to like drain, the fluid from my body and all this other stuff or whatever. And as a result, I had got a blood clot on my head, on my brain. And, they put me in, what you call that shit, to do the MRI or whatever. They put me in that thing. And
they're machining you.
Yeah. They gave me something to help me sleep or whatever, so I wouldn't move in that joint or whatever. And my mother said I was asleep for like 3 days. They had overdosed me on whatever they gave me. You see what I'm saying? So just looking at the conditions, and I spent like the first year of my life in the incubator in the hospital, you know what I'm saying, with the brain tube and all this other stuff. So it was just crazy. You know what I'm saying? It was crazy. All of these things that happened, but these are all of the conditions, surrounding, my birth. You see what I'm saying? And then they would wonder why I got like this John in the wild eating, wild locusts and honey. You see what I'm saying? He wasn't just kicking it around everybody else. You understand what I'm saying? So, you already had to fight for your life to come into existence. My mother had to fight against the doctors and all this other shit. You see what I'm saying? Just to exist. This wasn't even nothing. Just to exist. You see what I'm saying? So I'm like, when they start talking about what the white people done to you and all that, because, everybody gets soft-hearted and all this old punk-ass shit. I'm like, man, how much time do you have?
Yeah, I got a lot to tell you.
Specifically, you understand what I'm saying? So it's like, these are the conditions that's around that makes the warrior. You see what I'm saying? That warrior way. So, taking that out, and then they said, oh, okay, he would be mentally retarded, he would need special care throughout his life and all that because of the, what you call it.
Hold on one second, my phone, 1 second. Hello, my fault. I didn't know who that was calling me. So, what was we at?
I was talking about the conditions of my birth.
Okay, boom. We had, okay, how long, what we say? What'd you say? When somebody said, what the white people do to you, How long do you got? Okay, boom. So go ahead.
Right. I was talking about the result of the experimentation and what actually happened, and how they were saying that would leave me, like mentally retarded as a result of the blood clot on my brain. They said they would have to go in through the back of my head with a needle through my skull and burst this, blood clot on my head. So that's my mother was like, "Oh, we out of here." You know what I'm saying? We just take our chances. And she learned that science of healing, the science of herbs and healing, and it helped her, and helped so many. So this was the proof that it was going to be the catalyst, that the Creator would see this as a catalyst for this healing modality. Because if the first people to say you ain't worth a damn is family. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
So,
right.
If you can prove this to your family, then you're on the right track. You see what I'm saying? So, my mother worked with me and worked with me and worked with me and worked with me, through, prayer, words of power, affirmation, things like that. You see what I'm saying? And then work with me tactically, in a strategic manner in order to get me prepared. Because they were saying, like, he would be able to be on grade level and all this other stuff. Like all of the, fear templates that they throw at you, you see what I'm saying, to try to get you to be in compliance with whatever wicked ass devilish fucking plan that they got. So my mother had defied all of those, those odds, and she told me a story that on the day I was supposed to go in to get the blood clot burst in my brain, that she had she was praying. You know what I'm saying? Like, she was praying to the Creator, that she knew that this wasn't my fate. So she just needed a sign from Him that, this wasn't my fate and this wasn't the plan that we had agreed on. So my mother said I had a nosebleed for like 3 hours. And after that, she knew that was confirmation. So she said she took me to the hospital, and the doctor said, "Well, it's a miracle." And my mother was like, "He had a nosebleed, a profuse nosebleed. You think that had anything to do with it?" And it was like, "Nah." So just thinking about that, and then going into school, because how we are educated is a whole nother piece in regards to our development in deciding what side of the battlefield we're going to fight on. And the game is rigged. So, as I said, I had to get tested and all this other stuff in order to go to kindergarten. And I was reading on a 3rd or 4th grade level. And, comprehension was on the same kind of level before I went to kindergarten. But I was already prepared with all of the other skills: add, subtract, multiply, divide, cursive, and all this other stuff, just off of the strength of my family, my aunts and, everybody. I became like a family project. You know what I'm saying? So I got the love on the other side and the ass whoopers on the other side. So,
of course.
When I fucked up, it was big, and when I was good, it was good. You see what I'm saying? So,
exactly.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So, okay, you go through, your adolescence, your development stages and all that. So what's the first conscious, quote unquote, for lack of a better term, organization that you become, that you join, or, you begin to study?
Well, I was, Islamically inclined, so that the first organization was Hisham Jabber's organization. That was a major catalyst in regards to, seeing the world, the Islamic world, for the corrupt and demonic fucking Arab influence. I was 16 the first time I went to Mecca.
Wow.
Yeah, I went to Mecca at 16, and I went to Mecca again at around 18 and 19.
That was for an official Hajj, or you just went?
Yeah, I went for an official Hajj.
Okay.
So the same thing Dr. Khalid saw, I saw. You see what I'm saying? And I didn't even know who I knew of, but I didn't know who Dr. Khalid was. You see what I'm saying?
Right. So
the same things that he saw in Mecca, I saw in Mecca both times. At 16 and I think around 18, 19 years old. Hisham Jabber was the man who did Malcolm X's funeral. He did a portion of what is called in the Islamic tradition janazah, and he taught Malcolm X privately from 1960 to 1965. So right after that first time of Malcolm going to Mecca in 59, he went in 59 and he went in 63. So he began learning privately from Hisham Jabber, and along with some other notable people in the community that were working with him. He had an arsenal of folks at his disposal based off of his warrior stance. You see what I'm saying? And his ability to be on that mission as a rallier of people from different nations. So whether it was Fidel Castro, whether it was Patrice Lumumba, whether it was Kwame Nkrumah, any of those people. You see what I'm saying? So we got a ability to glean from that knowledge. We didn't fuck with no crackers and we didn't fuck with no Arabs. It was like the worst way to go. It was like it was heaven for me. It was hell for these fools that was running around here with these fucking Arab acting. You see what I'm saying? This Arab acting type of vibe and shit, man. These fucking dyed beards and all this old weird ass nut shit that ain't have nothing to do with, what we learned.
Exactly. It's not in the books. You just seen a group of Arabs going to dye their beard red, so you went and dyed your shit red.
Dyeing your beard red, wearing high waters, all kind of weird nut shit. Like it had morphed into it. You see what I'm saying? So it was that organization that kind of put a lot of that stuff to rest, because I didn't need no book to tell me that the white man was the devil, that the Arabs were the devil. I didn't need none of that shit. I didn't need all I had to do was exist. And you see what, many of our brothers and sisters, our existence is under attack.
Every day.
Every fucking day. And, you don't need a book for that. You need 2 eyes. You know what I'm saying? So, that was the first conscious organization. Then it was the Nation of Islam, a youngster in the Nation of Islam running around. It was really more of just a lot of study. So it was a lot of study of organizations and people. You see what I'm saying? So it wasn't really like I was, diehard in the nation or anything to deal with Islam, any of those things, even though I brought a lot of those principles to my hood, because my hood was very undisciplined. So I brought a very militaristic feel to my hood, and Islam was a strong catalyst for bringing out that warrior spirit in those brothers and sisters that was out there.
So this is in Newark. Your hood is you grew up in Jersey, okay?
Yeah. So, and there's still some cats to this day that went on that path back then when I was a little young punk. You see what I'm saying? And those things would play off into an experience when we get to start talking about the military. That's a definite part of my story and my journey right there. So one of the last of those, well, in between that, I went through to many different organizations. I spent some time up there in One West, you see what I'm saying, in like 97, and then around that time, 96, 97 time frame, Black Killer Priest and Nas and them used to go to classes over there. You see what I'm saying? I remember training in the park, you know what I'm saying, martial arts over there in the park, all kind of stuff was going on. You see what I'm saying? And I remember seeing, now that I'm laughing about that shit, I remember seeing Danyala and them back then. You know what I'm saying? So, it's real bug and coming back around. And as it would have it, my thrust back into the community was One West. You see what I'm saying? Officer Zariak, when he was Officer Zariak.
That time.
Yeah, you see what I'm saying? So as far as the social reintegration, I never really left the community, even though I was overseas in the military doing all kinds of stuff. I never really left the community. But as far as me communicating with people, like one of the first people I communicated with outside of yourself was Captain Zaria. You see what I'm saying? And I think about 7-8 years ago, I was like, yo, do you do lectures? You understand what I'm saying? And just look now. You see what I'm saying? So, besides you, Hashar, Zaria, you see what I'm saying? Danyala, and a few other folk I ain't gonna name. You understand what I'm saying? It was the main catalyst in regards to me re-socializing with the conscious community, because the virtual shit wasn't me. The physical stuff, yeah. But virtually, no, it wasn't. That wasn't it. You see what I'm saying? So, the One West camp played a very critical role in development, along with the other organizations. I joined the new Black Panther Party for self-defense at the end of '98 after the first Maryland Youth March. So these were all catalysts in that time frame that were real strong identifiers in regards to who was prepared to move on our enemy and who was prepared to stand on their hands. I could just say for this nowadays generation, they better be glad that Brothers is out recording on the corner now. That's the only thing I would say to you.
Hey, well, what do we say? We're recording for my protection and your protection.
right. Mainly your protection.
Mainly your protection.
Mainly your protection, because I know them warriors was jumping on some motherfuckers' ass.
That's a fact. That's on the regular.
On the regular. Witness, seen, right there. And yes, like, you see what I'm saying? So, thankfully, for their sake, these things are being documented virtually. You see what I'm saying? So,
exactly. Because there's that value in that, man. We had a situation last month out here in Atlanta. Man, we had to clean the boy up, but it's funny because one of the brothers that was there, first instinct as soon as it popped off was to take the camera off of the scene. He just moved it, boom. He's like, man, my first instinct, get the camera off. So anything that happens, you know what I'm saying? Because now it's went there, so they don't have no tape of it. They what's on tape is the individual, starting the altercation with us on a physical level, and then, that's really all we need. Like the nigga, I mean, he started it, you know what I mean?
Right.
But yeah, that camera saved a lot of people, whether they know it or not. In these days and times. Let's talk about the joining the new Black Panther Party. Like you said, it was right after the Million Youth March. So was that kind of the catalyst? Was that kind of the inspiration after seeing that power of the Million Youth March for you to join the new Black Panther Party?
Most definitely. Okay. Out there banging with the NYPD. That was the major catalyst. You see what I'm saying? Like, the event was electrifying. They tried everything in their power to try to stop it. They called Giuliani, all kinds of shit. This is where you see when something is sent from the divine versus from your own making. They tried everything. They rerouted trains. They shut down, train stops and all kinds of shit. You see what I'm saying? To try to limit the access. You had a whole strip, and it went from a whole strip to 4 blocks.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? And the only reason why we got down with the NYPD was because they were trying to shut it down before the time that we were allotted. You see what I'm saying? And
what strip was this on in Harlem?
This was, I can't even remember. I can't even remember.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like this, damn, when was it? Because it wasn't on 125th Street. It was somewhere around there, though. You see what I'm saying? So this was. I remember the battle more than I remember most of the details. You see what I'm saying? Because when it popped off, you just struggled who was with you and who wasn't.
Exactly.
And there wasn't too many who wasn't. You see what I'm saying? Like, this was a crazy, like we was packed. Like, this was the only time I ever seen trains that was packed up with brothers. You see what I'm saying? There wasn't no ice grilling. There wasn't none of that. No, Cat Bumpy, he said, apologies, my brother, blah, 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 this and this. And everybody had tools. So it wasn't like we was just out there and shit would have popped off other than physical altercation, even though there was some gunshots that was going on. But,
Okay, it says it was on my fault, I'm looking it up now. It says it was on Malcolm X and 118th.
There we go. Yeah. I knew it was from Malcolm X. Malcolm X. Yeah, that's that, right off of 7 blocks from 125th.
Exactly.
And it was supposed to have been large out. You see what I'm saying? So this is why they had changed it to that 4-block radius. They had a blimp full of tear gas. They had the National Guard soldiers out there and full riot gear, NYPD out there, full riot gear. You know what I'm saying? They was ready for it to go left, And it wasn't halfway left, but it showed the catalyst of the strength of, the brothers and sisters that's in the street. You see what I'm saying? So it wasn't no dashiki wearing, shoe stick, fucking numb y'all whole ring yo motherfuckers out there getting down with NYPD. It was the hood. You see what I'm saying? It was the hood. So, this is 3 years after the Rodney King. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is the catalyst. This was the crop. This was the warrior group. And we had the warrior general who was down there getting down with us until they snatched him up and snatched him up out of there.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Dr. Killa was banging with us. He wasn't fucking talking from the microphone.
Yeah, that's why he was such a force and such a leader when you really look at him. And, before I even knew who Dr. Killa was, I loved Dr. Killa, because one of the first things I ever saw in him, but I talked about with you was the situation in Texas, but also after that was the Kill 'Em All. I just saw the Kill 'Em All, just the snippet. And this is before I'm not into the Hebrew Israel. I'm probably 13, 14 years old. I see this clip on the internet. I'm not really knowing who Dr. Killa is. But I know when I heard Kill 'Em All, I felt that shit at 13, 14 years old. I said, this nigga right here, I'm with whatever he's about. Whatever he's talking about, I'm with that, period. You know what I'm saying? So he was, niggas like him don't come along all the time. You know what I mean? That's a rare gem.
Definitely. So just imagine how easy it was for me to recruit my whole hood based off that experience. So
Exactly.
what you seen on the TV and what you saw in real life, he was out there. So, I joined the ranks of the Black Panther Party. Sarnetta and them was in New York. Sarnetta.
The Harlem, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was going to ask you, was that y'all was contemporaries in the party?
Sankofa. It was a bunch of cats, back then, that came through. And that was a warrior class time. That was a strategic time. Because when Aaron Michael stepped down as the national chairman and Dr. Khaled won that election unanimously, that gave rise to the warriors that was coming in. Like, they were coming in, with the whole gas protection situation. Dr. Khaled wasn't in charge yet. You see what I'm saying? Aaron Michaels was in charge, and we came to him, and asked him, won't you join the Black Panther Party? You see what I'm saying? Like, Dr. Khaled still shot up. He was recovering from being shot up. You see what I'm saying? Out there in Texas. And then they said some car just pulled up on there, and they said Dr. Khaled had the joint out quicker. He's still walking with a cane and was up on the door grabbing Aaron Michaels out the car before any of the security. So just even think about this man shot out walking with a cane. They still ain't stopping from moving on you in a certain kind of way.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? Aaron Michaels out the car on the ground with the joint to his head. You see what I'm saying? Like, who the hell are you? You see what I'm saying? And the security sitting on the back. You see what I'm saying? So you got, the folks that's in your inner sanctum got to be tight, man. Got to be tight. And that's what they come for. It's like with Judas, you understand?
Exactly.
It's like with Delilah, you understand what I'm saying? So this is exactly how they come. You see what I'm saying? So whether it's, a mismatch with a security protocol or whatever the case may be, whatever y'all drills are, they got to know what they are and be able to move on you. See what I'm saying? If they're coming, it's not an if, it's a win.
It's a win, exactly. No, that's it, exactly. It's not an if, it's a win. And that's what we got to understand. So you joined the party. So real quick, let's backtrack a little bit. So Jasper, what year did the Jasper incident occur?
I think it was like 94, 95, something like that.
Yeah. And I was telling you about how when I just saw that on the TV for the first time as a kid, how inspirational it was to me and how powerful. I saw the new Black Panther Party at that point. That as a child made me want to grow up and be a part of that. So if we could too, because we talked about, but I want to go back over it. Is kind of the difference and the kind of disconnect between the Black Panther Party and the new Black Panther Party.
Man. Yeah, that was a crazy conversation. Yeah. The catalyst for the Black Panther Party for self-defense.
Because Salaki, before we do that, my fault. Just to preface, because a lot of people don't understand certain things about the difference between the two, and a lot of people, just like a lot of people, don't understand the difference between the Nation of Islam and Orthodox Islam.
Right.
Like when brothers say, "Oh, the Muslims," and they talking about, Farrakhan and them brothers. I always tell them, brother, they not the Muslims, the Arab Muslim base, and them is not the same. The Arab Muslim will not recognize those brothers as Muslim. They don't recognize what they do as Islam. And as a gem that my brother has always gave me, my brother I'm on the phone with now has always gave me, is Elijah took pictures with the Quran, but Elijah never taught the Quran. Wow. Elijah taught out the teachings, and he taught the Bible. He didn't teach out the Quran. See, the average brother walking around has no idea about that. You know what I mean?
That's right. But yeah, it's definitely that kind of catalyst, because when you're building an organization that are that purports to be about nation building, you have to deal with the intricacies and the mentality and the psychology of all of the family that you have assembled. There were men that were great orators, probably greater orators than Malcolm and Khalid and all of them combined, but they did not have the visionary skill that the Most Honorable Black Muhammad had. Mm-hmm. So this is why he was chosen to be the leader. And as a result, they were trying to kill him. You see what I'm saying? They were trying to kill him, so he was on the run, all kinds of shit. So everything that he wanted in his nation, every member that would come later, a vast majority of the membership from the prison or from the street corner, you understand what I'm saying? Most Honorable Black Muhammad went through all of that suffering beforehand. Locked up. They was force feeding him pork, all kinds of shit. You understand what I'm saying? Like, he was on the run. People was trying to kill him. He had to get his family out. He had to sneak around and get back to his family, all kinds of shit. So he was targeted just by operatives that was in the nation before the nation was even a nation. It was created alongside Foundation of Islam. You see what I'm saying? Wow. So think about that and look at the rift that the media had spun between Malcolm and Elijah. And it wasn't really that. It was the catalyst of everybody else that was around. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So, you know, I could get into that, but no, I didn't even deal with that shit. But that catalyst right there in regards to making a man from the ground up, from the dust to the ground, that process right there is stripping them of all of the vices and superfluities from what they previously knew about themselves and expose them to aspects of themselves that they had never seen before. So you have to do it on a psychological, a spiritual, an emotional, and then a physical level. You see what I'm saying? So all of us, you know, have a relationship with Scripture. You know, indiscriminate. If you're black, you got a relationship with the Scripture. You see what I'm saying? From that catalyst on. So you're talking about 1934. But before 1934, you know, 1924, you know, 1914. So melding this in a way where you could approach someone in a way that they can understand it and be easily digestible, giving them milk and then working it from milk to meat, you know. So it was a transformational type of vibe that would never happen if it was just relied on who talked the slickest. You see what I'm saying? Who had the best speaking voice? Who had the most charisma? You know, he had that ancient wisdom to be able to impart these things to people in language that they could easily digest. With a third grade education, look at all of the books that he wrote. And the Nation of Islam still has a 103 book list that he had to go to the Library of Congress to get. So think about transforming a people from, you know, swine, introducing them to dietary laws, introducing them to fasting and prayer in the way that they may have never known before. This transformation of not wanting to be a people of sport and play to actually being a nation within a nation and ready for war. And to tear your ass out the flame. You see what I'm saying? Like, so this is not the catalyst that we find today. We see that spirit, you know, in a lot of the warriors out here, but by and large, the work is plenty and the laborers are few.
There you go.
Even to that fact, the members of the Nation of Islam were not believers until recently. They were laborers. You see what I'm saying? So look at that catalyst all the way around in this transformation. So under this leadership, it goes back to, again, with the new Black Panther Party. Under Aaron Michaels, there was a certain kind of people that came in because he was a social kind of dude. He was a cool dude. He was a radio disc jockey. You see what I'm saying? So it was like, okay, we happy to be around and blah, blah, blah. But when that catalyst happened in Jackson, Texas, you know, in the world with their Dr. Khalid, and Dr. Khalid, like I said, he was on parole and he wasn't supposed to have no firearm. He had that motherfucking AK and he was ready for war. He didn't give a fuck. You see what I'm saying? It was a different kind of vibe. So this military-minded war strategist and warrior fierceness was coming into the party at that time. You see what I'm saying? So, and Michael's just like, I can't be the face. And how wise is that? How wise is I'm not capable of leading this type of fighting force. So I'm going to go to someone who is the best known one. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And that whole warriorship vanguard came into the party. And then after Dr. Khalid's demise in 2001, you know, some other folks took over, and then you got the clowns that came in, the insane clown posse. And, you know what I'm saying? But, you know, some of the real ones, we held the line for as long as we could. But after the martyrdom of Dr. Khalid, it was kind of hard to soldier with cats who was on some Trump shit. One brother who came and kind of reinvigorated the party, like one of the true students of Dr. Khalid Abdul Muhammad, Minister King Samuel Shabazz. When he came, I was like, ooh, I might put my uniform back on.
Yes, sir.
So that was a warrior, and he's still a warrior to this day. Been in the trenches for 30 years, you know, dealing with our people, and major catalyst, you know. So if y'all go check out some of that early stuff, and y'all go check out things I'm in on HOK and all that, you'll see that warrior spirit that I'm talking about. See what I'm saying? So that was a breath of fresh air at a very deciding time in the party, you know. So leadership makes everything happen. So that kind of leads to that catalyst in between those leadership decisions of the Black Panther Party for self-defense and the new Black Panther Party, with that catalyst in between these two organizational ideology and philosophy. The 10-point platform and 9 local objectives are the same. They never change. And they were birthed out of what the Muslims want and what the Muslims believe, because, you know, Dr. Newton, Bobby Seale, and them were coming into the Nation of Islam, but they had a separate assignment to create an organization that could be seen visibly with guns, because the Nation of Islam didn't have no guns publicly. Mm-hmm. You see what I'm saying? The military armed wing in regards to armed resistance was the Black Panther Party for self-defense, amongst other organizations that were out there that existed around the same time. You know, the Defense for Defense and Justice, that was another arm. Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee, they had militarized and had weapons, and they were there to, you know, guard Dr. King. You see what I'm saying? Kwame Ture, who was Stokely Carmichael at the time. You see what I'm saying? That military organization was there. So every party that was out there that existed, they had a, you know, vanguard party that was, there was their, the unofficial security force. The Nuabian Nation that was down there in Georgia, Dr. Khalid was going to use the party to be their armed resistance protection force. Wesley Snipes and them was involved. There was a whole bunch of stuff that was going on. You see what I'm saying? And, after the martyrdom of Dr. Khalid, you see what they did to that land. They went right the fuck up on it.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So that, you know, all this shit was strategic and purpose was done. So this catalyst in regards to this conversation, when we're talking about leadership and ideology, the Black Panther Party started off a certain kind of way, a black first, a race first, race-based foundational organization that went from race to class to an ass organization. You understand?
Talk about
so we went from that race first to a class, saying that there's a class struggle that exists in America and blah, 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 and this and this. It's beyond race. It really don't have nothing to do with race. It's everything to do with class. And, you know, we're on the lower class and we're on the upper class and blah, 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 and this and this. And, this is the ideology that they were pushing, which would lead to an integration type of ideology and ask struggle. You know what I'm saying? So, their excuse to fuck white bitches, you understand? If you look at the ranks of the original Black Panther Party for self-defense, 70% of it was women. 70%. It's just out there. You see what I'm saying? So this 30% of what you saw, you take that catalyst from its foundation, Black is beautiful, Black power. You understand what I'm saying? The ideology of Malcolm X, self-defense, finding means necessary, to a class state, to an ass state. This integration, this inclusion of homosexuality, all this other bullshit. You understand what I'm saying? So this catalyst in regards to that, Benjamin Yohana said something on one of those grills that was deep. He said men break rank for two reasons, fear or finance. And then that said it. The Black Panther Party for self-defense, they broke ranks for both reasons.
Yeah, in that same spirit of cowardice fueled by that is it sunk in and it worked because man, I was somewhere on Friday and I was with a room full of predominantly brothers, maybe 3-4 white boys in the room, right? But there was 2 instructors in the room. There was one black male instructor, older brother, and then there was like a younger white boy instructor in the room. Yeah. So they had us look at a video clip, and after the end of the video clip, they kind of had us going through a list of things. Okay, what did y'all see in this video clip, right? What type of privileges did the man in the video clip show, right? So first they talk about economic privilege, right? Then they talk about this idea of male privilege. Then the white boy go, is there any other privilege that we seen? So my hand went right up, right? White privilege. And the white boy goes, yeah, white privilege. Why do 3-4 black hands shoot up in that room and argue with the white boy that no, it wasn't white privilege, it was class privilege, and because of his economic state? But it just shows how ignorant a Negro is. So ignorant because he literally believes he's born, some Negroes at least believe he's born into a fair world where it's fair play, and if you do X, Y, and Z, or if you got the right connections, you know what I mean, we all could be rich. You see what I'm saying? That's in the nigga mind. You right? But what he don't understand is the white boy is rich and he's well off, the particular one, and he has come and showed his family. So he comes from that aristocratic elitist family. How did they get that? How did the generation before, what was done over the last 150, 200 years by that man's family to ensure that he can have these privileges and these benefits now? And it's directly in relation to his race and directly in relation to the oppressive nature of his race and the what is the word I'm looking for? The ends that his family was willing to go to ensure the superiority of their people. They were willing to stop at nothing. They were willing to steal your family. They were willing to steal lands. They were willing to break treaties. They were willing to force people into work. They were willing to subjugate people to the greatest atrocities of all time so he can have this benefit now. And if you don't understand that, you don't understand the fucking world that you live in, brother. You have no, and you arguing with the white boy is standing there. The white boy is standing there like, my nigga, do you understand that I'm telling you that you don't understand how much privilege I have over you, and you don't believe that I have this thing? You know what I'm saying? We basically, where we were, you know what I mean? I ain't gonna get into too much, but put it like this. I wasn't there on my own will, right? I was told by a magistrate that I had to be in this room. Right. So as a result of that, the white boy said, listen, 99% of y'all in here is black males. Right. We're in a county that's about half and half, but the edge is kind of DeKalb County in Georgia. So the edge is kind of in DeKalb County in particular is white. It's a little more white than it is black. You had niggas arguing about that, but you don't realize you live in one part of this county. So the part of this county that you live in, of course, to you, it's only black because that's all you see on this side where we all live. But where we went to, I'm looking around like, where in the hell am I? This looks like another world compared to the side that we live on, right? And I don't see my people on that side because there's that segregation. There's this whole other side of the county that you're alienated from, but it's not too far of a drive from you that's where they live. But you think they don't even live here. You know what I'm saying? Because they're not next to you. I mean, you're not seeing them where you at. So he's arguing with them about the demographics of the county, which are edged at about half and half, but the edge is on the white side. But he's like, why are the only people who were told by the magistrate to come in this room black? He said, you think y'all are the only ones out there committing crimes, right? Or being accused of crime? The white man don't do nothing wrong. Why is it so overwhelmingly black in here, right? And a nigga want to argue about that? I said, man, our people is so, they really don't know what
Even if it was the same crime in the same setting, you would never see them in that setting. They would be in the same place with you.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
And you don't get it. And the white boy, the two instructors, it was a workshop that they do all the time. Right. They do it regularly. You know what I mean? They have their own organization. So they're contracted by, the county to provide this workshop. And the white boy, like, I do this every week. And every week, everybody's black. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is not, you know what I mean? Why? Where are they at? You know what I'm saying? And you have
even further detachment. If you're talking about something that's contracted out, it's specifically tailored. Like, how do you miss that?
Exactly. Like you said, specifically tailored. And you got brothers in the room that is totally oblivious and not only oblivious, because it's one thing to be oblivious, but will argue with, nah, that ain't true. It's just because he had money. He had connections because he had money. They don't understand what a country club is. They don't understand, some of these different organizations, or even within the Masonic lodges, the segregation of the Masonic lodges. You see what I'm saying? Because you go to a lodge and you see one lodge is all black and one lodge is all white. Well, what's going on here? I thought we all was, brothers, right? You know what I'm saying? So, but they're not realizing the connections that are being made in the white lodge. They're not understanding the connections that's being made at the white country club. You see what I'm saying? And those handshakes, all of that comes with something. So, yes, class, you can talk about class, but that class was created by a certain group of people for a very specific purpose. So there's no detachment of classism for racism. And if there's white people that they had to leave out because they're so greedy, that doesn't make those white people your brother. That just means that white people don't care about each other. That's all that means.
Right. Yeah. So that whole catalyst in regards to this introduction of sexual deviance that, they now call sexual liberation was a major divide. Just what I was talking about previously was the Black Panthers. If you did some research on them bastard gay and lesbian Panther movement, that was a spin-off of the Black Panther Party. That was their agenda. You feel what I'm saying? So, homosexuality and its linked to pedophilia and all this other shit all has a catalyst all together. And that was one of the leading organizations under the guise of civil rights. You see what I'm saying? Under the guise of civil rights, today we have handicapped parking. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Under the guise of civil rights, we have same-sex marriage. Under the guise of civil rights, for the ones who needed it are still fighting for rights because they're dealing with an uncivilized people who ain't never been civil, ain't never been right. So how in the hell did you go and lobby and rally and protest and vote and die for something that you could never have? You were not brought here to have any of these rights, license, and privileges. You were born here in bond service the subjugation. Where do we still find ourselves? In that same condition. Nothing has changed. Nothing. So.
Yeah, and
access. I
was just gonna say, because like a lot of people don't know, like we was talking about, when I heard some of the people that was around the original Panthers, a part of that movement, and they talk about the inclusion of, the LGBTQ plus or the alternative lifestyles, kind of as they refer to them now. They were very much a part of that, and as things started to get compromised, like the term I talked about that was introduced to me at this particular presentation was that heteronormative, the idea that heterosexual behavior is normal and is the standard. And the sister, who is an original Panther, was speaking from a perspective as if the Black Panthers wanted to destroy that standard. And they weren't for that, and they wanted to support everyone for their choices. And if somebody wanted to be transsexual, or somebody wanted to be homosexual, or whatever, that was perfectly normal. And they in part fought for that. And saying that, it was just crazy, because we would have never thought it. And the legacy's kind of been protected. And sometimes we as a people kind of protect legacies, overlook things and highlight the good that people did and kind of cover up the bad sometimes, just for the purpose of the memory, and us taking what was the better part of what they did. You know what I mean? But it's like, damn, I would have never knew that.
Yeah, agreed. Agreed. So with the catalyst of the new Black Panther Party, the ideologies had to be revamped again. You see, you can't be dealing with Black people devoid of spirituality, and it had to be all encompassing. There had to be a situation to, back to the foundation of Black First organization, a vanguard party for the defense of the Black nation. So, the ideologies were welcome. It wasn't shit to see Dr. Khaled, up at 1 West or 2 West. It wasn't nothing to see him running with the Nuabians, with the Moors, with everything, because he had that appeal, and these are the soldiers that he made. He made them soldiers to be able to be adaptable to every type of situation.
That's a fact. Yeah, and I've heard Elder Barak in particular, Elder Barak from he's a House of David now, but he, of course, original 1 West. The first organization that left when the split happened was House of David anyway, but they originally went to 464 in Harlem. But he spoke directly about Dr. Khaled bringing the New Black Panthers, and the New Black Panthers holding armed post for the camp several times in Harlem. Elders out there preaching, and New Black Panther come in as protection, as security. No questions asked, walks up, armed security is on site right there. So that love was definitely there, and Dr. Khaled was making these connections.
Yeah, that's a definite catalyst. So again, when you see nowadays, with the disrespect on both sides, that's not what we did.
Facts.
This is not what we did. I know some people came with some monopoly scheme to use this for viewership and monetization. But the actuality is we don't have a divide. There is no divide.
Right.
If you look at Demona, how did they get to Demona? How did those brothers and sisters and those families, how did they get to Demona? Oh, these brothers and sisters that are Garveyite came from Liberia to Chicago 50 years ago. They said, I heard y'all was looking to repatriate. Let's go. And they took those who were willing and able to go, and they left, went to Liberia. They protected them in Liberia for a couple of years, and then, boom, they got to Demona. So look at this catalyst. Because I heard some stuff about no RBG Israelites and all kinds of stuff. Like, look at your heritage, look at your history, look at our history, look at these connections. All of these things are akin to one another because we're one people.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. But I understand recruiting goals, and this is something I could talk to you about, devoid of this right here. You see what I'm saying?
Of course.
Understanding recruiting goals, aims, and objectives, so I know why certain conversation is presented in a certain kind of way. Because I'm a military strategist, and it makes perfect sense. It makes perfect sense. If you're staying here, a conversation has to be had a certain kind of way, based on your demographics. And if you're leaving here, your conversation better be a hold up in order to get into the door, and then you'll see that there are blurred lines everywhere. And then you have to learn the game. So again, there's no separation here, and there's really no separation there. Definitely. Right. They got colloquial terms that are intertwined for usage. And based off where you are in the world, you better know the motherfucking password. Right. That's the difference between life or death.
Right. Straight
up. You see what I'm saying? If you in Damascus and you talking about the Christian church, then you might want to shut the fuck up until you leave out of it. You might want to
look, you see, polite ass took his ass to damn Saudi Arabia, Dubai, some goddamn where you did damn sure that nigga was dressed up like a Muslim making salat.
Right. Yeah,
Black woman as God was out the window, nigga.
She on vacation. Yeah. You gotta understand what it is. You see what I'm saying? If you go into Kemet, you go to any of these places, these heavily Arab populated, controlled type situations, you're gonna hold your tongue. You're gonna hold your tongue. You're gonna do the business you need to do, and go get access to what you need to get access to.
That's a fact.
So that's just how it goes. And they're like, yo, I went to Mecca twice. You know who guards the gate in Mecca?
Who?
Jewish soldiers.
Wow.
You understand what I'm saying?
That's nuts.
So, I had to spit some Quran in Arabic to them in order to get access because I ain't have no Ali Akbar Shabazz name. The Jews are asking you, what the fuck are you doing here? You see what I'm saying?
Wow.
So this divide, that's a divide based off of catalysts that set into motion. They're guarding the gate. They're guarding the gate.
That's serious when you think about that. That's real serious. And crazy. Wow. Okay, so boom, we got that. So One West, the party. Okay, so you go into the armed forces after. What is that? What year did you start your journey with the armed forces?
97, 98.
Okay, 97, 98. Okay, I thought it was post 9/11. So what, they sent you out? When did you get deployed? That's the true question.
Oh shit. Before I get to that,
something's in the middle. My fault.
I gotta tell a short story of how I ended up in the military. I was not, as you can see, the same person who I am today. I was that person times 1,000. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Devil's playing. Old dog and Sharif. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
This is right here. The devil's playing. White man's military. Ain't no in hell. And I was told since I was 5 years old that this is where I was going to be in the military. And I went to military school at 16.
Okay.
I went into military school in 96. When I'm in military school, post Nation of Islam, that was all of my background up to that point. So I come in this place. My brother was there before me. And my brother was like, he's a natural leader, so he was naturally leading,
Mm-hmm.
He got into altercation with this white boy. And he let the white boy hit him like 10 times. He hit the white boy one time, and he body slammed him. And that was it. The next day, the white boy wakes up and he looks like he got beat by 200 people.
Wow.
So, yeah, one punch in the body slam. And he slammed him into one of these wall lockers and he cut his ear. So, like, a piece of his ear was missing. And you know how that...
Was the white boy a superior or he was what?
This white boy, they was in military school. Everybody was just...
Oh, in the school, okay.
Yeah. So, they call this a hate crime.
Wow.
They call this a hate crime. They got my brother. My mother had to go down there. All kinds of shit. They're saying that this was a racially motivated situation, and they jumped. They saying that they jumped the white boy. White boy. They got the story for the white boy. White boy's not saying that, so he's not refusing it. You understand what I'm saying? So they coming in there talking this hate crime shit, blah blah blah. My brother's racist. Like, so my brother's like, yo, I'm good. Everybody is me. He said, now my little brother was here talking about me. He racist. He was white boy. You see what I'm saying? So look from Benny to now. It's not like, I just morphed into some different kind of dude. You see what I'm saying? My brother, even when he told me stuff like, hell yeah, I would have killed that cracker. Fuck out here, fucking devil. You see what I'm saying? So I said, that would have been my pleasure. Y'all should just let me go down there now and deal with it. You know what I'm saying? So he like, I wound up getting into some trouble and shit. I had to get locked up till I was 21. And this was my alternative. To go to this military school or go be locked up till I was 21. So that was like easy math. You know what I'm saying? That was like easy math. So I get down there and, here comes the racist, black power, extremist, Muslim nut.
Mm-hmm.
The same guy. You see what I'm saying? So I'm up in there and, they had us. When I got there, it was like 3 or 4 of us that identified as Muslim. 2 weeks later, it was 25 of us. Brothers and sisters. So they was like, oh, they a gang. They had called us a gang. We wasn't saluting the flag. We wasn't shaving. We wasn't doing none of that shit. We wasn't trying to hear none of that shit. So there's 2 instances that was defining for me throughout that experience, and that was kind of like the catalyst for me to go into the military to finally accept what the plan was and go along with it. They had a cat in there. We went to the cafeteria. They call it the mess hall, and we in the mess hall. I'm in line, and the military instructors, they come get me out of line. I'm like, man, fuck. You know what I'm saying? Like what I done did now and shit. You see what I'm saying? Or accused of doing. They're like, yo, man, I don't fuck with the Islam shit. But this dude needs something. I'm like, what dude? They're like, yo, this dude's bugging. He's saying he the devil. He got 666 on his hand, on his face and shit. We can't have that, blah, blah, blah. I need to go talk to him. So these are our superiors in the military school. And this is when, they went from looking at us as a gang to something that was viable. Actually, for those, because we all in there because all of us are step away from going to the penitentiary.
Mm-hmm.
There's only like one dude in the entire school who left regular high school and came to this military school because he needed some discipline. One dude out of everybody, out of the whole school. Everybody else was in there about to catch some charge, or this was some agreement to avoid the charge, all that. So I go see this dude. His name was Damien at that.
Wow.
Yeah, crazy. So I sit down with this dude. I'm like, yo, man, what the fuck you doing, man? And I seen him. He had some pork bacon. So I snatched the pork bacon and I tossed the fucking plate. And I sat down with him. And they like, yo, what the fuck? I said, yo, man. I said, you want to die? He was like, huh? I was like, do you want to die? He was like, no. I said, they're going to kill you in you. And if you're not dead, you're going to be dead for the rest of your life. I said, they're going to shift you out of here to some mental institution, and you really going to think you're the devil. Like, you might be looking for some attention now, but you're going to get all the attention in the world. I said, that's not what you want. I said, this is what they want for a young black man. I said, you got to look in the mirror and make a decision and come back into yourself in your own righteous nature. And I walked away. Later on, we wiped all that fucking marker 666, no more devil talk. You over here building with us, talking about Islam. So they sing that shit, and you know there was like 2 other events that was in the mix of it. They had started kicking us out specifically. They started targeting Muslims and kicking them out. You see what I'm saying? Or anybody who had anything to do with us. Like, they didn't come at me and my brother and shit. We was like the catalyst and shit. But they went after our people. Any kind of thing that they could get us, they was at it. And they was kicking us out. You see what I'm saying? So they had kicked out one of the brothers. He was from my hood, actually. Like, he was just cool and shit. He was with everybody. And kicked them out and shit. He was a big dude. So we called him Big Worm and shit. So they had kicked him out. And this was his last chance. Like, literally, if he got kicked out of there, he was going to get locked up. So he was 18. Me, I was 21. Him, he was 18. So they kicked him out. I'm like, yo, he ain't have nothing to do with us. You know, well, we just need to show you who was in charge. I was like, that's a bad decision. So we went to the mess hall, whatever, blah, blah, blah. We marching. This is a military school. Cats not marching. Cats not, going through with the cadence or whatever. We was on silent. I said, nobody better not say shit. Nobody said nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like, brothers and sisters, nobody. We just marching. And we had our head down. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And it was just like our little silent protesters, like, well, like, y'all better say something. Like, they dropped us, so we don't push ups and shit and making us exercise. Y'all ain't gonna say shit. You give a fuck. Blah, blah, blah. We ain't control, blah, blah. They doing all this other shit. So I'm just like, Big Worm. And everybody just starts saying, Big Worm, Big Worm, Big Worm, Big Worm, Big Worm. That's what we said the whole way. And they say nothing else. You see what I'm saying? So we get back to the spot, and everybody's emotions is crazy. Like, everybody flipped out, sisters was flipping out, brothers flipping out. And then this shit spiraled to where these cats is about to get into it. 2 cats. So they from different platoons. So the platoons is in it. So this is like 100 people about to get down. You understand what I'm saying? 100 people about to get down. And it's only 3 or 4 cadre there. So they call it the MPs and all that shit. So it's the cadre and the MPs over there, and it's us. So they out there, and I come out in the midst of that shit. That shit reminded me of that Malcolm X movie so bad. That shit is crazy. So they ready to kill these young children. We like 16 and 17 years old. These grown-ass men. You know what I'm saying? Ready to take us up out of here. And I told him, I said, look at the situation. I said, look how quick they militarized against us. I said, me and mine, we ready to die. And we ready to kill. I said, only thing I'm saying to y'all, on either side, if any of my brothers or sisters get harmed, somebody's going to die. Y'all decide how important this is to you. Chief, the cats that was soldiering, they walked upstairs.
Wow.
That was the end of that shit. Like, they walked upstairs. So this is about to be a full-scale riot, and they look like, yo, this motherfucker off the chain. So, you know, they would condemn me and condemn us in the public, and they come see us in the nighttime, like, yo, what's going on? Y'all good? What can we do? And this and this. I need some help with this situation right here. Oh, I was in Saudi in the Gulf War, blah, 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 and this and this. You see what I'm saying? Like, they had got us Islamic services and all kinds of shit. It was nuts, dude. I'm telling you, they drove us to the mosque in Trenton. We weren't even really with that shit. They drove us. They took a van and drove us to that mosque in Trenton. You see what I'm saying? You know, the cats came for the Christian services. They had this reverend up in there, and it was like, yo, he downstairs talking shit about the Quran. I was like, let me go downstairs. So we bust up in their Bible study and shit. You see what I'm saying? You're like, yeah, this is me. I'm like, chill, just let him speak. I was like, what you got to say about the Quran? You know what I'm saying? Like, that kind of shit pushing up on motherfuckers something.
Is that
big? Yeah. And word had got back to the commander of the place, you know, that we was a problem. So a cat asked me, what do I think about white people? Cat asked me that shit. So I wrote a paper talking about Yaqub and they grafted science and they grafted demons and they're the devil and blah, 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 blah. And he read that shit, he was like, yo, I ain't never, you should post it up. So I posted it up out there where everybody had their papers and shit. that motherfucker went right to that paper and snatched it off the wall, and he was fucking cherry cracker red, boy. Devil red. You see what I'm saying? And they didn't want to have a meeting and all this type of shit and blah, blah. I was like, they just asked me my thoughts. These are my thoughts. You know? It's like, are you racist? I was like, yes.
Very much.
Yes. Yeah, you know, so it was just a bunch of little shit and all of these catalysts. So when I was reflecting on my experience, you had to do like a little extra paper and it said, what did you learn from this program? And it was direction. You know, for me, you know, a person without direction, you can lead them anywhere. But a person with direction, they focus on that direction and they travel in that direction. So this was kind of like the catalyst of meeting these people from all these different places, different ideologies, whatever, but moving towards the same direction. We were strangers and we left as brothers and sisters in one another for those who agree. You know, so this was like a catalyst. It's like, okay, this is what I'm doing here. Because I was always trying to figure out what the fuck am I doing here? You see what I'm saying? So fast forward, this was a catalyst and a push for me to go into the military for that same kind of reason. But, you know, it's a lesson I had to learn in that regard about subordination. You know, I learned that shit the hard way.
Real hard way. The only way someone was ever goddamn learn.
I went into the military, chief, and the hood was like, you ain't gonna make it in no fucking military, man. You know, instead of saying, I'm like, nah, man, I'm good. And they're like, nah, man, you're pro-black ass, you too pro-black. You know, they ain't having that shit. You see what I'm saying? So I went in the military, and I was home in 22 days. I was home in 22 days.
Wow.
So I was like, oh, there goes the end of that shit. What's the plan? Blah, blah, blah. So, you know, I'm back in the hood doing what I do, blah, blah, blah. And I wound up getting a call like a year later saying like, we read your record and we saw there was some discriminatory type of practices, based off of religious beliefs and a misunderstanding ideology. Things is different now. What you think about coming back into the rooms? What the fuck? You understand what I'm saying? So I'm like, okay, this ain't nothing but the creator, putting this back out on this path and shit. So, I would talk to my older brother and shit. Older brother put me in the headlock and shit. It was like, yo, motherfucker, you got to get the fuck out of here. So, I'm back in the military and shit. You see what I'm saying? I'm down there in Georgia. I'm in Fort Benning, down there getting my infantry training on. You see what I'm saying? Then I went to Virginia to do logistics training. So it's crazy little joint. So this was my introduction back into the military, and sitting around with people and learning the opportunity to recognize, train, motivate, and study people from all over the world. You know what I mean? So I was like, all right, this is my man. So these, they get these young brothers and sisters, and I could go into that separate, just all on its own, Chief, about the military mind and how it impacts people and blah, blah, blah. And, the closest you could get to institutionalization, you see what I'm saying, and building a subservient slave kind of mind is in that military mind.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what I mean? Like, so I'm like, oh, shit, they ain't never seen a motherfucker like me then. Nothing here. So, boom, going in there, doing what I need to do, suffering the consequences of being who I am and all that other shit. You see what I'm saying? So now this leads me into the conversation about war. Like the first place I was deployed to was Haiti in like 98.
Okay.
Yeah, I was in Haiti out there then I went to Turkey was like the next place, and then there was like some other places in between, after 9/11, they sent you all over the fucking place.
Yeah.
So, Haiti I was out there in Port-au-Prince and shit, and that was an experience and a half. You know what I mean? That was like the first place I was stationed upstate New York in Fort Drum and shit up there in Canada. And when we wasn't out beating the fuck out of Canadians and shit on the weekend, we was doing this other shit that was going on. So, yeah, ain't that like some good white on white violence with a little pepper mixed in that bitch? You understand what I'm saying? So, that shit was great. So yeah, we deployed to Haiti, then came back, and I went to Germany, and I was in Germany when 9/11 had kicked off. I was in the training exercise, matter of fact, when 9/11 kicked off, and they had called us to the side, cats from New York, cats from New Jersey, and said, it's been some accident that happened, blah, 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 check on your family members and shit. So, September 11th, 2001, the shit happened, right? September 12th, 2001, cats is at every Muslim that they know. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Every Muslim that they know. So now look, we in the armed forces. You know what I'm saying? Like, my niggas got at me the next day and shit. You one of them fucking Muslims? I was like, nigga, like, did I change from yesterday to today? Like, who am I? Like, I'm the same motherfucker you knew. You understand what I'm saying? Like, so this was happening at different bases and shit like that. They was targeting motherfuckers, torturing motherfuckers, all of that shit that had popped up. You see what I'm saying? So trying to be, like, they were evacuating people that was Muslim, like regular dudes, and, them Arab looking, anything that looked Arab, they was moving them motherfuckers up out of the spot, because they were getting their ass whooped. That was great, whatever. You understand? Beat the shit out of them. It was fucking under me. You understand what I'm saying? When it came to the brothers, though, you know what I'm saying? Like, I knew that dude, Ahyab, that they had accused of throwing the grenades in the tents and shooting at motherfuckers when they came out. I knew that dude. I knew he was wounded. And I knew that they tortured him into saying that he did it, that he was responsible. You know what I'm saying? I don't, like, there's a thing about grenades. Grenades have like a 10 to 15 meter kill radius.
Okay.
And if you in that kill radius, you're dead. If you're not, the shrapnel will get you.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? So if he threw these grenades in the tent and he got hit with this shrapnel, like we said, as a result, how is he still able to throw smoke grenades and fire at people as they were coming up? How does that work?
That's a great point.
So this is shrapnel going, like I got shrapnel in my blood still from, explosions and shit, from combat being blown up and motherfuckers trying to kill me and shit. That shit will fuck you up forever. So you're talking about this guy that they said that they found over there. He's injured, laid out. They torture him to keep him up for like 3 or 4 days, beating the fuck out of him. This American torture shit. And then all of a sudden, he admitted to it.
Wow.
It's like, are you from Mars? After 4 days? Yes. I'm from Mars. But this is, the stuff that don't come out with that proprietary information. You see what I'm saying? They went at a chaplain. They went at a couple of people. Like, it was real crazy to be a Muslim. So just think about September 11th. Think about the DC sniper too.
Yeah, I forgot about that too. All that. It was a lot going on during that time period. And if you was a Muslim, you were just the absolute enemy.
Yeah. So this 2003, 2004 type situation, all of those things happening between 2001 and 2003, that kind of catalyst right there. And March with the invasion of Iraq and shit, I was there in March 2003. And I was there from March 2003 to like November or December. And then I came back. I was home for like 2 or 3 weeks, and then I went back. Right back. You know what I'm saying? So all of 2004, most of 2004, 2005, So I had like 3 weeks of break in between, and then we would do some training for 45 days, and then boom, right back.
Mostly all combat.
Yeah. The craziest, nuttiest times of the combat. You see what I'm saying?
Of course.
From the invasion to now, but look at this other catalyst and shit. March 2003 to the end of 2004. Well, the end of 2003, there was no improvised explosives in the road. I go back 21 days through this 45-day rotation training, and then go back out. And they talking about this shit that could blow up a tank in the middle of the street.
Straight improvised explosive. Wow.
Yeah. I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, where's this shit coming from? You see what I'm saying? It was just like a force-on-force situation. Back then, they was telling the world there's weapons of mass destruction and type of shit. But like they had the motherfuckers on the street. And they put that course down.
All these niggas got is AK-47s.
Right. And RPGs.
RPGs.
Yeah.
And y'all dealing with the M16 at that time still, right?
Right. M16 and, like the machine gun.
Okay.
The 2.9, that was like the biggest shit. You see what I'm saying? Other than, like, 2 or 3 or whatever the case may be. Like, things are still, very premature at the time. So then, you're coming back with, now you got tanks and Bradleys and, stuff like that. You see what I'm saying? Now you got something in the street that can blow up a tank or flip a tank over. You see what I'm saying? So these other vehicles, they don't stand a chance. So this is a whole upgrade in the space of like 8 or 9 months. You're fighting a whole other enemy now with type of capability. And this is 25 cents worth of explosives. 25 cents. You know what I mean? So I'm like, this shit is a gas. So for me, I'm bugging out. This shit is great. You know what I mean? I'm looking at it, and I'm like, this is reparations for me to be in this environment.
Yeah.
I got crackers on one side. I got fucking tail hands on the other side. Let's go. Let's go. I'm with it. And, you know, I got my little crew of brothers. I'm like, don't get caught up in this patriotism shit. I said, we the worst motherfuckers on the planet right now. He's like, what you mean? I said, look around. I said, we in the hood and we the police.
Hey, listen, on steroids though.
On steroids, but it's real. Look at this shit. I'm out there about to go on a mission. And guess who out here on the motherfucking mission with us? The NYPD and the LAPD.
Wow.
In Iraq. You know what I'm saying? I'm out there then, of course, I'm out there when they cut that cracker head off, Nicholas Bird and shit, all that shit. You see what I'm saying? Like, it was nuts. Like, all that little shit, you know, it's just crazy here in November and shit like that. That's crazy, too. But, yeah, this is, you know, I'm like, I told my niggas, I'm like, yo, who you think they're going to use these skills on? What they doing out here? You know what I'm saying? So, and you'll see that they used all of that tactical training in the hood, and most of these police forces are getting trained by the Israeli military.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that time was crazy too, because I remember, now that we talking about it, something just popped. Most I just put something back in my head. It was one of my brothers, man. We went out right around probably it might have been maybe a year, maybe 05. No later than probably 06 though. I don't see it being much later than that. It was a situation where one of my brothers, he like, my boy coming back from Iraq, heavy combat right now. He said he's just in town for a few weeks. And, you know, the brother was just, I mean, you can tell the type of stuff that was going on over there, because this nigga pulled up. He had, you know, that was the time the Magnum was hot. He had the Dodge Magnum. And I'm talking about this nigga had so many guns just sitting on the passenger. He just had so many, like he was still in Iraq. He had so many guns on the passenger seat. He's twisted all he talking. He's at the bar. All he's talking about is, man, we just killing these Hajis, man. We just killing these Hajis, nigga. I'm killing the fuck out these Hajis. That's all he kept saying, man.
Hell yeah. That's the language right there. And that's exactly what you kept on your seat or on your, you know what I'm saying?
that was the whole spirit.
Yeah. And, you know, for us in that regard, like, if we didn't have any of this information, any of this consciousness, any of the music, we'd be all vegetables. You see what I'm saying?
Nice.
Like I saw that movie with the Black Panther movie and shit, Black Panther. Mm-hmm. And they had the dude in Chidaka they had called Killmonger. You know what I'm saying? He took his shirt off and was like, each one representing the kill. And I started laughing. I was like, is that it?
Nigga, you need more marks.
I said it would have been, they probably had need 3 or 4 more of people just for me, just from what I know of. You see what I'm saying? And it's just me. You see what I'm saying? It's like, I'm like, the fuck? So all that shit was just, it was funny. You see what I'm saying? For me. But the condition of the mind and where it has your mind at, you know what I mean? It's nuts. Like movies like that, President, shit like that, like kind of accurately depicted what was going on in the mind based off of the shit after war. So if that's talking about physical confrontation with your enemy, understand what you're going to have to deal with after. Because the war ain't never over in your head. Mm-hmm. You still in combat. You see what I'm saying? Like a lot of brothers and sisters who went over there, they ain't never came back. You know what I mean? If it wasn't the catalyst, if it wasn't me communicating with my mother and getting certain kind of herbs and stuff like that, and just even dealing with consciousness, dealing with information, sharing with brothers, like really working with brothers day and night. Like this is a brother I was working with for 7 years straight. You know what I'm saying? Just to kind of try to rid him of that whole combat experience. But he's still in there. He never left there. You see what I'm saying? So even with some semblance of some hope. So just like I was on the streets, you see what I'm saying, with Islam, it was like the same catalyst for consciousness in regards to trying to get brothers and sisters back to a level of homeostasis after being exposed prolonged to war-type situations. You see what I'm saying? Either actual physical combat or just hearing shit blow up and explode and Chinese rockets or mortar rounds coming to where you sleeping at. You know what I mean? Mm. So it was a lot of this, catalyst. There were a lot of situations where which some of these things that folks look at as pseudo, some of these things that people look at as crazy and all that shit now, because everybody's so super smart and super deep and super great, that got some of these brothers and sisters through a lot of these weird ass situations we was in. You know what I mean? So.
Right. So I want to also, man, talk about some of your time in Germany, because I know that you were active in the community in Germany and bringing people in for lectures and things like that. So was this after? Because I know you was in Germany. Did you end up having to go back to Germany or what?
Yeah, I went to Germany the first time, man. Like that first time in Germany, that's when I went to Mecca again. I was in Eritrea. I was in Ethiopia. Got a chance to see and meet up with my brother in Sudan. So I was in Sudan. That time. You see what I'm saying? And, I was in Amsterdam. I was in Amsterdam like a motherfucker. I think I went to Amsterdam like 13, 14 times. That was like the greatest place on the planet to ever be, man. Like that was the chillest place in the universe. Amsterdam. Like I used to hear stories about the Netherlands and shit. I was like, man, get the fuck out of here. You know what I'm saying? We living in the hood. I'm like, man, whatever. You see what I'm saying? So I went over there. I was like, damn, this shit is true. You see what I'm saying? So, after September 11th and all that other shit, going to Turkey and all these other places and shit, then coming back, I went to Texas, Texas. So I was in Texas, and that's where, that was the bulk of Iraq. Three trips to Iraq then? Yeah, 3 trips or something like that to Iraq, and then came back and I left. No, it was 2 trips. I came back and I left and went back to Germany like right before Hurricane Katrina happened.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So August of 2005, I got to Germany. So I was in Germany, and I went to war again, like around 07, 08 or something like that. You know what I'm saying? So 2 trips to Iraq then 1 to Afghanistan. So 4 trips to Iraq total and 1 to Afghanistan. November 21st, 2008. I did an event out there in Germany with my mother. Black Dot, AYC, True Master, out there. So that 2-day event is in its, what year is this? This is 2019. So 11 years. This is 11 years coming up on. At this event, and we were organizing with other people to do like a intercontinental tour. It would be Germany, the UK, Italy, and Hawaii. Those military bases over there. You see what I'm saying? Getting that information out there, because that information that happened from that 2-day conference, like it spread like wildfire. It was all over the planet. You see what I'm saying? Like. And my mother, she transitioned February 5th of 2009. Mm-hmm. So this was the last time that I saw her physically.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? She came over for the lecture at my son's birthday, November 26th. You know what I'm saying? On my pop's birthday, November 25th, and my uncle 25th, and my son is 26th. So motherfucker will be 21 here in a couple weeks.
God.
Got his ass on his 21st birthday. So, we did that event. It's a 2-day event. It was crazy. Did I see like a little bit of that footage or whatever?
From that event? I believe you did, but this was like a while. This probably what, like a couple of years back?
Yeah, a couple of years back, yeah. So I found it again because they took it off. Because if you remember, it's been like a whole little attack on alternative health by Big Pharma.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Targeting people and shutting down channels and shit, killing motherfuckers, actually. It's really going to be really bad.
Exactly.
Yeah. So they were demonetizing channels, taking channels down, shadow banning channels, and all of that based off of them purporting to have anything to do with any alternative health medicine or remedies. So, yeah, this was this catalyst, in regards to dealing with these events. And, there was some other people that was in the works. It was crazy. So it was a lot of that, you know what I'm saying? A lot of that, putting it together. However, by the time 2011 came around, I went to Washington State. That's how I ended up in Washington State. That was my last place I was stationed over there.
Okay, you was at Joint McCord AFB?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what my pop's born in Fort Lewis. He born in Fort Lewis.
Right. Yeah, my youngest son, he was born in Fort Lewis and shit.
Okay.
In the hospital up there. So, yeah.
Yeah, good old Fort Lewis, man. Yeah, that's a staple in my family. Cause plus my grandma, like her house, even to this day, it's just up the road from Fort Lewis. They moved not too far. Of course, they were living on base, but then they went ahead and got their house off base and retired there. Yeah, that's ill. Okay, so let's talk about Do the Knowledge Radio and kind of the catalyst. What kind of inspired the concept, and the spirit, and how have you been able to keep it going? Where are you finding that motivation? Because to consistently deliver, niggas don't know how to consistently deliver all the time. You know what I'm saying? With some people can do it about some things and not about others. You know what I mean? Like I could do class every week. I could go to camp. You know what I mean? But when I want to do my podcast, I can't do that every week, man. I'm not as motivated because I'm not talking about it as the same type of stuff, you know what I mean? So that's not as motivational, but through the knowledge is always informative. So that may, I'm sure is in part what's fueling the fire. But if we can go into the concept, developing the concept, what keeps you going, and the different people, because I know you've done different, like you said, you had the series with King Samir, you know what I mean, and things like that. So if you could talk about all that.
Man, that's a crazy ass story and shit. That is a crazy ass story. Initially, I was working with my brother YG Priest, man, Rosette and them out there with the West Coast House of Consciousness. Natural Tahuti was out there.
Yeah.
And we had some stuff going on. And then, Natural Tahuti got locked up and shit. You know what I'm saying? I got some ideas and things about that. But,
Of course. And a lot of people forgot, about our brother, man. And that was, the crazy thing was, man, Natural Tahuti is a brother, from New York, staying in PA. You a brother from Jersey. And through one circumstance or another, y'all all end up, in Tacoma, Washington. You know what I'm saying? And me being that's the land of my nativity, and having my connections back there, and individuals like Rosette and YG Preach, and how in tune they is with the streets and all that. I'm connected. We all is connected through that. You know what I mean? Through one degree of separation of another. I didn't grow up knowing YG Preach or Rosette, but we know a lot of the same people, especially Rosette being me, and Rosette is from the same hood, man. So that whole, and then you know, for Sarnetta to reach out to me. And then I'm on the phone with Sarnetta one day, and he's like, man, I got a brother from the West Coast right now, YG Preach on the phone. So he plugged me in, and I'm like, yeah, man, one from Tacoma. He's like, nigga, I'm from Tacoma. You know what I mean? That whole plug in, and when that whole thing was going on, you know, and I got real close with the brother Nasser Tahuti, you know, during that time. I remember when he got locked up, man, I immediately, you know, sent the brother Kayala, you know what I mean? So that whole, a lot of people don't know behind the scenes how close all of us are and were during that, especially during that formative time period.
Yeah. So yeah, that was 2011. As a matter of fact, I found out that Nasser Tahuti was out there. I was checking in with my brother Aline Vay and shit. Mm-hmm. And Aline was like, yo, where you at? I was like, the company was like, Nasser Tahuti was out there. I'm like, man, get the fuck out. He's like, yeah. I said, I don't do with that black woman and God shit. I don't hear that shit. You know what I'm saying? He's like, nah, just go fuck with him. I was like, all right. You know what I'm saying? And then, you know, I went out there and, you know, I linked up with him, man. Solid brother, man, like solid, true to the heart, loyal ass brother. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like street cat, you get down in the street, you understand what I'm saying? And go give a lecture like nothing happened. You know what I'm saying? So me and him, you know, we formed the bond off of being that adaptable, versatile type spirit that was uncompromising. Shit. You see what I'm saying? So, you know, after he got locked up, man, it kind of put like a major damper on some of the things that was going on. Mm-hmm. So we still kind of, you know, kept stuff going. We started meeting weekly in the lodge on Hilltop and shit. You see what I'm saying? Like I opened that up. That was the first time they had ever been in that motherfucker. You know, like,
because
shit all the time.
Because that lodge, man, a lot of niggas don't know. You know, for people that aren't familiar, if anybody go watch my documentary Guerrilla Hebrew Homecoming, I do a lot at the People Center. Well, what's right next to the People Center is the Masonic Lodge on the hilltop right there on Martin Luther King. But a lot of us always kind of looked at it because we always seen the Africans coming up out of there. So we always looked at it like, oh, like that's some African shit. Like we don't know, we don't know what's going on in there. You know what I mean? I don't know who be in there. I didn't even know.
Was renting that building out. That's right. You know, I was doing like some kind of wedding, some kind of party, some kind of something that's like a major staple for them to, you know, to do their events.
Makes sense. Yeah, because I didn't even. And plus, when I was young, passing by, I didn't even know, you know, what a Masonic Lodge. You know, I didn't even know what that was. So I didn't even know that was that. Like probably until later in life. You know, so you all had opened up the lodge because I remember the first few House of Contents West Coast bills that they was doing. I knew it was at the lodge.
Yeah. So that was a part of, you know, my responsibility was someplace to meet because we were meeting in another location, and that location had wound up being compromised. And by no stretch of the imagination, you know, right after Nasser Tahuti and shit, that shit gets compromised and shit. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, on some crazy shit, some whole other shit. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, so, you know, we started meeting there. I had brought A. Rashid back over to the joint June 3rd, 2012. You know what I'm saying? Day after my born day. You know? Okay. So, you know, we were doing, you know, different things. We were supposed to do the Revolution of Exodus conversation, like we were actually going to do the concept.
Yeah. With YG Preach concept.
Yeah, I remember it was just a conversation me and Preach had, you see what I'm saying, for a while, and then let's do this conference and shit. So we were going to do the conference, but the people that we were trying to get involved, it wasn't going to be really kind of like apropos for what it was.
Okay.
So we were doing a lot of work in the community, you know, me, you know, the Preach was doing, and, you know, working with youth, coaching basketball, all kinds of stuff, working in the schools with, you know, our youth in regards to bullying and shit, with the anti-bullying campaign. Mm-hmm. We were working with, you know, try and get kids to not to be fucking with the drugs and all kinds of shit. Like all kinds of stuff happening in the community, from our fraternal ties and from the street ties, street ties and shit. You see what I'm saying? So, Juvenile Radio was birthed out of that. Myself and NYG Priest was talking one day, and he was like, "Yo, man, what else could we do to help get the word out?" Because, we was out there doing what we were doing in the communities, and, we're making impact, but we didn't have like a sounding board to actually push, what we were doing out there in the virtual world. You see what I'm saying? So I was like, all right, we could do a radio show. I didn't know nothing about none of that shit. You see what I'm saying? Other than hearing, who was rich, Underground Railroad, Red and Blue Pill with the Ledge, and what's my man? Michael Imhotep from African History Network. I didn't know nothing about Blog Talk. I didn't know none of that shit. I just know I called in a number and, listened to their conversations and shit. You see what I'm saying? So that was my limited scope of view in regards to anything virtual. And I used those examples. I was like, yeah, they got this going on, blah, blah. And, at that time, it was very fleeting in regards to when Red and Blue would come on, with KTM and shit. So I was like, we could just do something like once or twice a week on the weekend and shit. You know what I'm saying? And do that way. And he was like, yo, I don't really know how to fuck with that shit. So I looked into it. And, I looked into it and signed up. And I signed up August 25th, 2015. And we did our first episode August 29th. Yeah, August 29th of 2015. And it was like, the first episode was what is consciousness. So, like I really had to kind of bring, people back to the beginning, to the foundation, because so much bullshit. Like I said, I've been around for 25 years. You see what I'm saying? So, a bunch of this bullshit in regards to all of this, fake division and all this old foolishness. I'm like, the outside don't know who, the difference. They think that this shit is real.
It's all one thing.
Yeah. Or they think that it's real contention. Like, when I see you, it is what it is. Kind of vibe. That's the real thing. You see what I'm saying? And this is how you create zealots on the other side. You see what I'm saying? One of the mistakes and one of the greatest calculations that he made when he was talking shit about Commander General Yohana, I was like, you're a fucking retard. You understand? So when he said about what he was going to do, I was like, man, I was talking to my partners, man. I was like, yo, man, it ain't who you see, it's who you don't see.
Period. Well, the same thing, like when you had young Pharaoh going around thinking he could say anything he wanted to say about Farrakhan like that. You don't know who you're playing with.
In 23 hours. You didn't even get a whole day. You just talking that shit. They find your baby mama and your shooter in a day. They call you on the phone, like you frantic, like a motherfucker in the car sitting outside of your house. You don't even know. You retarded as shit like that. Like that's what I'm saying. Like I just bugged out. I was like, man, you don't realize like these is military organizations. It's not just regular groups and shit. You said officer of 1,000. This is an officer of 1,000, officer of 500.
This is militarized structure here.
Right. So you talking about an officer that's responsible. You ain't seen him. You ain't seen him on the camera. He seen you and heard what you said about his leader. Now he got 500 people mobilized, prepared to look for you. You don't know them. You ain't never seen them. 1,000 people looking for you. You have no idea what kind of shit. Everybody ain't got fringes on, G. Everybody ain't got fringes on. You understand what I'm saying? But they understand military obligation, affiliation, and protocol. You don't even know. You could be in Walmart and the motherfucker next to you and think you talking that shit. I heard what you said you're going to do to their leader. And they right next to you, shopping, waiting on the word. It's just foolish with some of the mind frames that they got. So, when I started looking at all of this, I was like, all right, you put together this platform with two objectives in mind. One was to be a catalyst or evidence that there existed time in the conscious community where brothers and sisters learned, they respected their elders, they honored their ancestors, they had programs in place in regards to the catalyst for our future. There was discipline, there was protocol. You were not to speak unless you were given permission to speak. You were not to teach unless you were sanctioned to teach. So this was a time where this shit existed, and through 130 pieces of silver, shit kind of got exported and went all over the place. You see what I'm saying? All it took was 30 pieces of silver. So this was a reminder that there was such a time and there was a student body that was connected to such a certain time. So, myself and some other people that's out here come from that time, and I was one of the ones who remained steadfast and true to evidence of that particular time. So that was one part, to tell the story of the unsung, to create a situation where we honor those true ones. You see what I'm saying? Like today's Veterans Day, like who are our true veterans? You see what I'm saying? Who stayed the course? Who did not get dissuaded? Who didn't fall for? Who didn't squander their inheritance? Like that. Who didn't squander their inheritance? What they received? Who remained steadfast? So the responsibility of those who remained steadfast was to seek to go after those who went wayward. You see what I'm saying? So this is the catalyst of the program, one half. The other half was I had never been to an event anywhere where they did not pool the crowd to see the resources that was in the crowd. So people who had product, services, and talents and skills, they would always come through the crowd and give them an opportunity to promote themselves. And that set off a catalyst to where brothers and sisters, they weren't lecturing. They was plumbers. They taught karate. They was doing cable, hair, whatever the case may be, to get business based off of the circulation of this information across the globe. So this was the other component. So telling the stories in the unsung, honoring our ancestors, our elders, our peer group, and our youth. And then the other side was creating a situation for brothers and sisters to promote themselves, their brand, and all of those things, interconnected. So fast forward to the first episode. The first episode was, what is consciousness? So what is consciousness? But before we got to the topic of what is consciousness, we gave people opportunity to call in, promote themselves, promote their brand, whatever the case may be. So that was the first part of the program. And then the second part, we had Red, the Black Guys, Tag, all kind of people up in there that called in to, speak from their perspective about what was consciousness and giving, the crowd time to interact. Matter of fact, Solomon and shit was on the first episode over there and shit. And the old guy, you see what I'm saying?
That's when they were still going all together.
Yeah, you see what I'm saying? So all of this catalyst right here was kind of the conversation surrounding about what consciousness, you see what I'm saying? Versus a lot of this stuff that people just, they say today still, like conscious just means a way. Like, man, what the fuck are you talking about? You see what I'm saying? Like, all right, so let's go. So, but these are the kinds of things that get repeated. You know what I mean? So, and then an underlying catalyst was to allow groups of people that were out here working in the best interest of Black people to have a catalyst to where they can actually be heard in a non-combative type of manner. You see what I'm saying? So right after that to the camps, right after. You understand what I'm saying? Right after. You remember, you and Divine, you see what I'm saying, was right there on the list. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
In regards to, creating and painting a picture of what was being done in service of our people, unbeknownst to us, because it got overshadowed by the pictorial images of what's being shown on the camera. You know, I know I was talking to Divine, and Divine said some ill shit to me. He said 10% of the Israelite community get 90% of the attention. So I'm like, okay, it's things that didn't happen over the years with these alliances that was formed, that was showing other camps and all the work that's being done across the United States that would have never been shown if you never got an opportunity to actually dialogue and meet. You see what I'm saying? Like, shit, you was coming from what was one of the first episodes you were on, like, you was coming from a situation about to diffuse some shit that was about to be real. You understand what I'm saying? Like, you had a car on the way. Like, you see what I'm saying? So, like, I was like, how the fuck do, you know, these people with these fears and influences, why aren't they pushing this particular information? Oh, okay, I understand the game. Because that's not profitable. You see what I'm saying? Drama and mess and fake beef and contention and all kinds of shit. Like, this shit is profitable. Like, this is, you know, what these platforms are paid for, and they're paid for. You see what I'm saying? So they can't talk about your prison work. They can't talk about you working with gangs and, you know, dealing with the homeless and getting brothers and sisters off drugs. The same kind of foundation and story that I come from. You see what I'm saying? Like, all of that in one. Why isn't the attention paid to that? You see what I'm saying? Like you don't even know. Like, you see what I'm saying? Like, and then when I saw the video, you know what I mean? Like, I was like, yo, this is ill. You see what I'm saying? Like, so all these things, you know, together, make Israel like a major component in the platform in regard to ensuring that their story was told, that Israel's story was told properly by Israelites, and not by the proposed enemies of Israel. So whether it's in America or all the way to Devona, these video watchers who watch y'all on video, you see what I'm saying, and try to regurgitate what you're saying, they don't know the process you done went through to get it. You see what I'm saying? They don't know the process you went through to get it, the hours you done spent researching. You see what I'm saying? The hours you done spent putting in time to build the organization, to build their membership, to deal with their family issues and all of this shit that's surrounding with it, deal with your own shit, all of that. They just see you on the camera.
Exactly.
I could do that. I could say that's right. In the back. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, like, it's become popular. You see what I'm saying? Especially with Israel being in some movies and stuff like that. You see what I'm saying? You even got little parodies out there, all kind of shit. I think seeing like Epps on one of them videos.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, that's when you know the influence is great.
It's real,
you know what I'm saying? And with some of the people in the entertainment industry, you see what I'm saying, when coming through, being attracted to, you know, the truth, you always got, you know, some wannabes that have come along, and it's indicative of any culture. The evidence of the culture is in the lifestyle and the connection to the language. So if you're coming from a society, you have to be able to reward and punish. You see what I'm saying?
Thanks.
In regards to that. So when cats get out of pocket, cats get out of line, expulsion ain't enough sometimes.
Yeah. No.
Mention ain't enough sometimes. You understand what I'm saying? Like, he comes from foot the ass situation.
Thanks. So. You telling the whole truth. Yeah, this is beautiful. This is real beautiful, man. There's a lot of people don't understand, because you usually doing the interviewing, that this brother's a wealth of information and a wealth of stories, and you know what I mean, he done lived quite a life, you know what I'm saying, through the spirit and the grace of the Most High. And over the course of his life, obtained some real worthwhile wisdom to share, you know what I'm saying, with us. So this brother's a real wealth of wisdom and information, and you know, tidbits of history that are little known but that are amazing. You know what I'm saying, when you think about it, man. You know, we got to get a good slice of it on today by the grace of the Most High. So I'm real happy about that, man. You know, this is only the second interview that I've done for this Urban Legends series that I'm doing, man. And you know, I'm honored to, you know, have had you on, honored to have been on your platform as many times as I have been, man, and hope to be on there, you know what I'm saying, in the future as well. Of course, you know, it's mandatory. You know, we go back to the foundation. So, you know, it's only right. It's only right that we, you know, that we meet again and again and again and again. You know what I mean? Beautiful, man. Anything in closing on my brother?
I say all praises to the Most High Power, and all praises to you for even, you know, giving the opportunity for me to even be on this platform. Everybody don't make it. You see what I'm saying?
That's a fact.
When you make it, you dare to get slayed. Not native. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
You know, most of the time you get an invitation and saying, right, to that coffin. You see what I'm saying? So I'm loving the camp, man, and I'm loving the growth and development of the young lions that are, you know, in training. And my fervent prayer is that they remain steadfast and don't allow their successes to lead to their failure.
That's a fact.
You know what I mean? Like if you take that away from scripture and you look at these successes, you know, you would never think that David or Solomon would be in the positions that they were at the end. You see what I'm saying?
It's a fact.
So whether it was the kings or whether it was the prophets or whether it was the judges, you know, that catalyst, don't let your successes lead to your failure. You see what I'm saying? Learn how to take instruction, learn how to maintain a level of humility and self-discipline, and, you know, remember God consciousness always. You see what I'm saying? And this is what any organization that is out there that is building, don't allow your successes to be the catalyst for your failure. You see what I'm saying? The pride before the fall. You know?
Exactly. Exactly.
Having that understanding.
When you think about it, it's like, you know, you can't. And one of the key ways to do that is not glorying in your successes and your victories like that. You're not really taking. We're not having a gold medal, you know what I mean, celebration ceremony right now. We're not, okay, we won, we ran the race, we got the gold. We ain't standing on the podium and putting the gold medal on. We running another race. Okay, boom, we back on the mark. We out. You know what I mean? We ain't. I got time. Just stack the medals up. You know, maybe we'll get to that. We still running.
Right. So yeah, just definitely keeping your eyes on the prize and staying focused. You see what I'm saying? And keep those alliances and relationships that you built with your day one stronger than everything. Because when everything else falls apart, all you got is those ones that to your left and to your right. You see what I'm saying? And stay true.
So
that is the downfall of many of the organizations. You see what I'm saying? When it gets to those points, when you're dealing with those evils, and especially at the time where tragedy comes. You see what I'm saying? When tragedy comes, either you're a detriment or you triumphant.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So either it becomes a trial or your testimony of being triumphant. You know what I mean? So keep that shit tight, and the circle's even tighter, and keep these motherfuckers out of your goddamn business.
That's right. That's goddamn right. You know, all praise to the Most High. Well, brother, man, it was a pleasure, man. As always, man. Again, I appreciate you, brother. Man, Most High be with you and bless you. And the platform as well as do the Knowledge Radio.